Welcome to Los Angeles, everybody, and welcome to the LA Convention Center, where it is all going down this week as we lead up to Super Bowl 56. This is the home of the fan experience, and of course, Radio Row is where as well, where all of the members of the media are broadcasting from this week. And hello, welcome into our set. Welcome into the FanDuel Sportsbook's More Ways to Win studio here. What's up, football fans? I'm Lisa Kerney here in Los Angeles, where the Super Bowl is now just a few days away. Very exciting times, and I am joined by the rest of the guys here on set with me. We are breaking down this big game between the Rams and the Bengals. We're going to get to them, but we have got huge guests on the show, you guys. Broncos running back Melvin Gordon stopping by, along with Hall of Fame running back Eric Dickerson, just off the side of our set, waiting. He will be sitting in one of these seats in just a moment. What's up, guys? We're back together. This is officially day 2 of our Super Bowl preps. How's the energy? How are we feeling the energy of
pacing ourselves?
Today?
The vibe is good in LA.
Peaches and Herb
and
state
you,
of mind.
and Dave, you put me onto a whole different way of betting last night. I've got a whole new philosophy after our dinner date.
We had a great dinner last night, by the way.
Right.
And you picked up the tab,
today.
so generous of you.
My pleasure, anytime.
Yeah.
Little birthday shindig, a little team dinner, if you will. Got to know each other a little better. Lots more to come on that, I'm sure, whatever we can share here on the show. It's a family program, guys. Before we dive into our analysis, though, a reminder that all of you can place all of your bets we're talking about in the show right now on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. And for all of our new users, sign up for that new account using the promo code MOREWAYS1000. You can get your first bet risk-free up to $1,000. So get on that. You can download that app right now. We're going to get into this show. We're going to kick it off and get right into this matchup because I mentioned, we're going to talk a little bit about these Rams and Bengals. We're going to start with the spread, guys. Rams laying 4 with the Bengals in town. Dave, I'm going to start with you. Which side are you backing?
It's been kind of going back and forth. 4, 4.5, back to 4. You look at the experience of Matthew Stafford. He's played over 150 games in the NFL. Joe Burrow, 29 games. Is it too much to ask for this young kid to get it done in the Super Bowl?
What do you think?
He's been clutch. I think it's too much to ask, especially with what the Rams defense is going to do to him. We've seen it all playoffs long. They've been phenomenal, and, that Rams defense and Cooper Kupp, the combination of those two things, I think the Rams cover.
I'm blown away by his poise. Joe Burrow. I mean, every time I think he's going to crack, the moment's too big for him. 21-3, they come back, and they win in overtime in Arrowhead to beat Lisa's Chiefs. So I'm not taking the Rams. I had to put that in there. You're wearing red.
I'm wearing my red today.
So, look, I'm not going to say I'm picking the Rams because I'm anti-Joe Burrow, but it's the 3 guys that are healthy now and are playing that they got in. Von Miller, Odell Beckham Jr., Cam Akers, and I think those reinforcements, Cole, help the Rams cover -4.
Yeah, especially when it comes to Von Miller. Of course, he's looking to snag another Super Bowl MVP and bring that home. But when it comes to winning close games, the Cincinnati Bengals, that's what they've been able to do all season long. They've won 10 ball games this year by 3 points or fewer. So when you look at what they're able to do in those close-knit contests, and Joe Burrow, as we talked about yesterday here on set, we talked about Joe Burrow not losing a big game. And then Ed has to go bring all kinds of rain to the parade and say, well, he did lose the state championship in high school. But high school for Joe Burrow, a whole long time ago. And on Sunday.
Wasn't that long ago.
I think he's going to.
He didn't have the big gold chain then, Ed.
That doesn't swag.
Glasses.
Swag is not going to count for 3-4 points when computing the numbers here. I want to push back on this idea when it comes to the Bengals can win a lot of close games. No, I want a team that's dominating opponents, and we saw that in the playoffs with the Rams against the Cardinals. What that defense did to Kyler Murray was absolutely epic. What the Rams have done against weaker competition has been absolutely epic. Meanwhile, the Bengals have played a lot of close games, especially when it comes to the playoffs. I want a team that's going to dominate, and that tends to be more predictive going down the road. That's why I like the Rams to cover here.
So I'm the man on the island here. Just
you are.
Yeah.
And you have
even though we're sharing a love seat, you're on an island.
It is a love seat.
Yeah.
I did notice that yesterday.
Not a couch. It's a
Nice cozy over there.
Oh, yeah.
Bengals
Very
have been
nice.
disruptors, right? They've come in and they've done things they weren't supposed to do. Here, the Rams are at 4th shortest odds to start the season. We talked about it yesterday, Dave. Month ago, 18-1 odds, and then here they are hosting the Super Bowl in their home stadium. And the Bengals can come in and do something that a lot of people aren't expecting them to do, as they are getting 4 points in this game. And I want to turn our conversation now to player props, because a big part of, especially later in the season, Odell Beckham Jr. has been a big part of in this postseason, getting some numbers and putting those up. So let's talk about his over-under, 61.5 receiving yards for OBJ. Pony, will you start us off here?
Absolutely. I think Ed said, was it 4 years ago you coined it? Do not succumb to recency bias. He said that for the first time. I had to look it up online.
Yeah.
Like, what is this?
Yeah.
Okay. If you just go by what's happened lately, Odell Beckham Jr. should blow that away. He should go over, right? But you go back the last 5 or 6 games before the NFC Championship game, 40 yards a game, 50 yards.
Right.
The volume, the body of work. The body of work says go under. I think he's going to be more of a decoy and diversion in this game, Dave.
He's hit it the last
playmaker.
The last 2 games he's hit it, but since joining the Rams, 4 out of 11 where he's gotten to
that's what I'm talking about.
I'm saying under. Yeah, I'm going with you.
All right, you guys, let's move on here. And Ed and Cole, this one is for you. Quarterback to throw a touchdown pass first. Do you think it's going to be Stafford, or do you think it's going to be Burrow? What do you guys think?
I'm going to have to go with Joe Burrow at plus 110. When you take a look at the team that's able to score first in the Super Bowl, they're 36-19. So if Joe Burrow's able to calculate some of those numbers and devise a game plan to get into the end zone, who knows? Who are we going to see that strike to? Well, that's yet to be determined, but I'm going with Joe Burrow to throw that first touchdown in.
It's awfully close when it comes to red zone passing, but the Rams pass in the red zone 59% of the time. Okay. The Bengals do it 57% of the time. Cincinnati is also big when it comes to establishing the run. They're much more committed to that than the Rams are. So to me, Stafford's my pick.
Okay, all right.
All right, you guys. Well, we're going to have lots more conversations on these guys. They just keep going. When I'm just here, I'm just a decoy. I'm just a prop.
And another thing.
You'll get your turn. There are hundreds of fun game and player prop bets on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. We're going to get to those game props in just a moment, but you can check all this out right now on the app. And if you prefer a simple money line bet, if you're new to sports betting or this is just your jam, FanDuel's hooking you up with a crazy odds boost. You can check it out right now. It is Super Bowl 56, so look what we did here. New users making their first sportsbook wager will get 56-1 odds, up to $5 on a moneyline bet for the Super Bowl. Of course, this is just simply picking who wins. That's right. A winning $5 wager means you'll collect $280 in cash. It's that simple. So download the FanDuel Sportsbook app right now. Sign up for that new account. Place that moneyline wager on the Super Bowl just a few days away. Take advantage of this 56-1 odds promotion going on right now. Again, it is the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Well, it is a big week here in Los Angeles, which means big-time legends are here with us on Radio Row, and we are excited to welcome and thank Hall of Fame running back here, Eric Dickerson. Welcome to the set. Thanks for being with us here on More Ways to Win.
Thank you very much.
You know, I have to give you your due, so I want to get these numbers out. Eric had more than 13,000 career rushing yards, 90 career touchdowns, of course, drafted by the Rams, so this is going to be a great conversation. He's got his hat on. Let's start with these Rams. Now, L.A. traded for Matt Stafford before the season. I've always been a Matthew Stafford fan, and it's nice to see him get a chance here in LA to do the biggest thing here. They collecting other players. OBJ comes in. What is your take in all of the Rams have put into really refining this roster both offensively and defensively?
I think they've done a great job. I think Les Snead has done a great job putting this roster together. I'm not out. I think people are always big on draft picks, the first-round draft picks, but I'd rather have a proven product, guys who have played like a Von Miller, and Matthew Stafford. You've got those guys, and that's what you want. I mean, it's almost sad because it's like people want Matthew Stafford to fail. It's like, oh, he's never won a playoff game, or he won one. Oh, he never won another playoff game. He won that. Oh, he's not going to beat the 49ers. We get in the Super Bowl. Oh, well, he got lucky. It's like, wow, what can the guy? If he wins the Super Bowl, I'm sure it'll be something else.
Yeah, well, he has quite a story, and his journey to get here has been a winding one. So we'll see what he can get done on Sunday. But Dave, I know that you have a question for Eric, so I'm going to turn it over to you.
Yeah, first of all, I brought my ball. You signed this probably 10 years ago. I don't know, but I picked it up at a golf tournament, and I know you do a lot of charity work here in Southern California. You like to do things like that, so thank you for that. Thanks for the contribution. The question for you is, you played with Coach Robinson.
Yes.
However many years he coached, the Rams never got a chance to go to the Super Bowl. Here's Sean McVay. It's his 5th year as a head coach, 2nd trip already to the Super Bowl. What, if you could grade him as a head coach, Sean McVay, what would you give him?
Oh, man, that's a tough question. I don't like to grade coaches like I don't like to grade players, but, I mean, you'd have to give him at least an 8.5. because I think the big thing is he hasn't won the Super Bowl. That's everybody. You got to win the Super Bowl. So if he wins the Super Bowl, he has to get a 10 because you have all these coaches coming from under Sean McVay that are head coaches. And I think that it shows, Sean's knowledge of the game and the guys that have come after him. So I'd have to give him 8.5.
All right, that's a pretty good rating right there. 8.5, not too shabby, especially when he's playing for another Vince Lombardi trophy. Now, ED, we talked about guys who could play big-time roles in the Super Bowl on Sunday. Of course, Von Miller, OBJ, and Cam Akers. When it comes to Cam Akers, how does he dig deep? We know he was plagued by injuries this year. How does he dig deep and maybe in this game become the hero and channel his inner Eric Dickerson?
Well, the thing is that you have to have opportunity to run the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, that comes first, and the guys have to make the blocks. But the thing I like about Cam is he always seems to be going forward, not falling back. He can make the great cuts. He doesn't take long to hit the holes, and I saw that when he came back. Man, he's hitting those holes so fast, and that's what we've been missing, with Cam being out.
It's interesting because I got a message that I was not allowed to ask you why you aren't wearing an SMU hat because recruiting is a 24/7 process, ED. You know this. But I do want to ask you as far as when you're evaluating a running back, when you're watching on film, for the casual fan, how can you tell when a running back has it? And how can you tell when it's the offensive line and the structure establishing that run game?
Well, first of all, you have to have both. I don't care how great you are. If you don't have the guys up front, you can't do it. But for me, my best attribute would be, people say, what makes you so great or good? I say, my acceleration from 0 to 60, to be able to cut. Because as big as I am, I was 6'3", 220, but I could go stop and go. And that's the difference from a guy. When you stop and make them rounded stutter steps, or you're not sure about it, and then sometimes you have to punish. You have to punish the hole. You have to punish the hole. You have to make a hole. And I could do that too.
Mm-hmm.
Your single-season rushing record still stands today. Still stand. Give it up. That's hard to do, man. The league has gone more pass-heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see that record being broken? And if you do, who could do it?
Someone will break it one day. Now I'll say this: do I want anyone to break it? Hell no. I'm going to hang on to my records. People always say, records are meant to be broken. You don't have a record if you want your record to be broken. Mm-hmm. The guy that I look at that's kind of like me is Derrick Henry. Big, he's physical, and he's fast, and he's fast a lot faster than I thought he was. So if it's a guy that has a chance right now that I see, it's him or someone that's not even in the National Football League yet.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you this question, because you're looking good, I might say.
Thanks, I'm holding on.
There's after the Super Bowl, 200 and something days until week 1. If you got a contract for one game next year, do you think you could get 100 yards?
Absolutely not.
What? Come on.
Hell no.
I was waiting for a
First
yes.
of all, the way when I watch the guys hit now, and I go, ooh, I just can't believe I used to do that.
Yeah.
No, I might look it. I would take the ball and probably just drop it.
You can't make that hole anymore.
No, I can't make that hole anymore.
To find the sideline as fast as you can.
Right.
So you got some running backs, some really good running backs in this game in the Super Bowl. Is there any one talent or trait that you are looking for from these guys that makes you believe that, look, if they've got a lead, you can salt it away because of their ability with that one trait?
Well, being able to take the punishment. That's what it comes down to being able to take those hits because, as the game goes on, the games get more physical. When it's a close game or, you hit. Are you going to run the football? We can run the clock out. Can Joe Mixon do that? I like Joe Mixon. I know Cam. Cam's not a big guy, but he can take the hits. And the thing about Cam is he's almost like me. He can almost slither through a hole. He don't take the big hits. So both guys are great backs.
Okay, well, that single-season rushing record, as Lisa alluded to, it still stands. And when you're talking about legendary records, I don't know if you remember Let's Ram It. That's a legendary track right there.
Yes.
How about your
Man,
verse?
please, don't. It ain't
Can you
it ain't
spit
gonna
16 bars already? Do you remember your verse? And when's that 2022 remix coming, man?
Man, it ain't coming.
Okay.
Look,
Come on.
I told those guys we did that. Don't do this. A bad idea. Well, Eric, we don't do it. We can't do it. And sure enough, you talking about this.
Yeah.
30 years later.
Sorry, I had to bring it up. My bad.
The record still stands, and there are a lot of stories that will be passed on in this book right here. Watch My Smoke. You guys check it out. Eric, this is your new book that's out. What can you tell us about it? What are your readers going to take away from your stories?
I think one thing that the readers take away from me, people who know me know, if you ask me a question, I'll tell you the truth. That's one thing. But another thing is that how the media made me into this villain, when I was going through my contract disputes. And a lot of it is, we had no outlet. We had no Instagram. We had no Twitter. So what the media wrote, everyone believed. And I think that, to me, I get a chance to tell, my story.
Mm-hmm. Dave is going to take this home with him. He is going to ask you to sign it. He's going to pass
Heck
it on
yeah.
to his daughter. It's her kids. It's going to live along for a long, long time. Thank you for the stories that you've passed on in your book. You know I'm not going to let you go until I ask you, who's going to win this game on Sunday?
Come on now, who you think gonna win? The Los Angeles Rams.
Subtle.
Can you predict a score for us? What do you think?
You know, I'm gonna say this much, you know, I've been saying it since we got in the playoffs. If we don't turn the football over, we control this game solely. I said that when we played Tampa. Everybody, Tom Brady, blah. I said, we don't turn the ball over, we win it easily. I'll say this again. We don't turn the ball over, I say this will be a 30-14 game. We turn the ball over, it's going to be a field goal. It'll come down to a field goal. And I don't mean once, I mean like 2 or 3 times.
It's going to be a great game regardless. Cannot wait, especially the way these playoffs have gone. Absolutely epic. Eric Dickerson, Pro Football Hall of Fame wide receiver. Thank you for joining us. It was an absolute pleasure. Again, Eric's book, Watch My Smoke, is out now. You can pick that up. Thank you, Eric. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Obviously, some great insight from ED here on the show. We have another great guest ahead of us coming up right here on our set in just a little bit. Broncos running back Melvin Gordon will be here, everybody. We have a ton of stuff to talk with him about. He is a free agent, so where does he see himself playing football next year? And of course, there are a lot of rumors about Aaron Rodgers possibly heading to Denver to be a Bronco next season. What are his thoughts on that? He'll break down the running back matchup for the big game ahead of us on Sunday between the Rams and the Bengals. And you know I'll be getting his Super Bowl pick as well. That's Broncos running back Melvin Gordon coming up right here on our More Ways to Win set in just a few moments. So you definitely want to stick around for that. And if you're new to sports betting, guys, check this out. We've got partnership with our casino side. More betting analysis in just a second. But first, I do have to tell you about a chance to win part of $1 million just by betting $5 on the Super Bowl right here. It's the $1 million Super Bowl Double Down promotion. Here's how it works. Just bet at least $5 on the Super Bowl. You'll get a $5 credit on the FanDuel Casino app. On top of that, you'll also be entered into a contest to win part of a $1 million prize pool. All this cash cha-ching. So place the $5 bet. Check in on the FanDuel Sportsbook app after the Super Bowl is over to see if you've won a share of that $1 million prize. It's the FanDuel Casino app. And don't forget to hit up the FanDuel Sportsbook app as well. All right, we're going to get everyone back in here to talk about a popular player prop bet available right now on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. And again, if you're new to sports betting, please download the FanDuel Sportsbook app right now. Make sure to plug in that promo code MOREWAYS1000. You're going to get your first bet risk-free up to $1,000. All right, business out of the way. Dave, this one is for you. Which player will score the touchdown first? We've got Cooper Kupp, the favorite at plus 490. I know you've been on the Rams all season long, but how do you play this particular prop?
You know, one of the reasons why I played the Rams before the season started was because of Cam Akers. And he got hurt after I made that futures bet. I'm like, oh, well, there that goes. The fact that he's even in this game is remarkable. I mean, he's overcome an injury that takes most people 8 months. I think he's going to be rewarded for that hard work. And if there's any situation to get him the ball for the first score, he's going to get it. That's my guy, Cam Akers.
And you didn't cash out and you didn't hedge.
No cashing out
I love that
here.
about you.
No.
You stick to your guns. You've convinced me. I'm going to go with Akers, too. He had that fumble at the end of the Tampa Bay game. He could have easily been in the doghouse for the NFC Championship. Just go with Sony Michel. Been there, done that, won a Super Bowl. When they're in the red zone, Akers usually touches the ball first. So I'm going to go with Cam Akers plus 650, Cole.
All right, well, I'm going to
jump with us.
I'm going
Come
a
on,
different direction. I'm going a different direction just because
Jump on my
everyone's
love
jumping
seat,
off
right
the
here.
bridge.
Yeah,
Doesn't
of
mean
course
you
you
have
are.
to do that. I'm going to go with Odell Cornelius Beckham Jr. because we know OBJ, well, he's seen somewhat of a renaissance over the last few games. And when it comes to that conference championship, well, the first 100-plus receiving yard game that he's had since 2019. So when it comes to OBJ, he's going out there, and he and Matt Stafford, well, when they get together, well, they make some sweet music. Frank Viola style. The passer rating, 124, just a skosh under that. So I'm going to have to go with OBJ scoring that first touchdown. I don't know how you're feeling about Mr. Beckham, but I'm feeling good.
Well, Beckham's fine, but this is a bit of a hedge as far as first touchdown throw. But if I'm looking at the Bengals, I'm looking at Drew Sample, the backup tight end for the Bengals, in large part because, look, when you get close in the red zone, you want a big physical guy. And C.J. Uzomah is obviously going to be, the target, so to speak. And so who's going to be open might be the backup.
We'll see.
What is the odds on him?
21-1, I believe.
Not big enough.
We're not big enough to take it. All right.
Yeah, right.
Great stuff, guys. All right, that's just a little bit of the props. They're all available for you right now on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. We've got plenty more coming up on the show, including Broncos running back Melvin Gordon joining us right here on set in just a couple of moments. You will not want to miss that. But first, we're going to give our DFS players a little love. You know, we always like to take this little break here in the show to give you guys a little love. FanDuel is hooking you up with millions in prizes for free. Just head to FanDuel.com, sign up for the Super Bowl DFS contest, set your roster, play, and win. And this week, you'll be playing a single game slate, which requires specific strategy, right? So we turn to senior writer and editor for Number Fire, Jim Sonis, who gives us some tips on setting your lineup for Super Bowl Sunday. Hey, Jim.
Thanks, Lisa. Yeah, single game slates are a different beast than the full slates we've been playing throughout this entire year. But there are a couple of key things to keep in mind that can make things a lot easier. And the first thing is decide how you think this game will play out first, because there will be a different set of players you'd expect to do well if the Bengals win by 10 versus if you think the Rams win by 3. So you want to decide first, how will this game play out? Then decide which players benefit from that script and make things line up in that way. Once you decided the way the game will play out in your head, then pick your MVP. On FanDuel, the MVP is a 1.5x multiplier, and the salary to use a player at the MVP slot is the exact same as to use them as a flex player. So basically, you are picking the player you think will be the highest scoring player in your lineup, decide who that is, and then go from there. Finally, prioritize finding volume for your value plays. For the Super Bowl slate, the salaries are not too restrictive, which means you don't need to get too crazy, too exotic with your value plays. You can find guys who will be on the field a bunch, whether it be due to injuries or role changes, and use them and feel good about them. Once you do that, you should have the flexibility to get up to those studs we talked about last week on the show and still get access to some really fun options for this slate. So once again, decide how you think this game will play out, pick your MVP based on that, and then look for volume among your value plays. That should set you up well for a fun day on Sunday for the Rams versus the Bengals.
Awesome, Jim. Always love having Jim on the show. I got a special guest I'm going to introduce in just a second. But there you have it. Head to FanDuel.com. Sign up for free DFS competitions right now. Of course, use Jim's information for a chance to win millions in prizes. Follow him on Twitter and Instagram as well at Jim Sonis. Hit up that podcast, the Heat Check Fantasy Podcast on Apple Podcasts. Thank you, Jim. All right, now I want to bring in a special guest. I mean, not much of a tease here. He's sitting right here. You guys know who this man is. Broncos running back Melvin Gordon on the show. Awesome having the two-time Pro Bowler on the show with us. We've got so much to get to. Thanks for being here. We appreciate you being here. First things first, it is early in the week. I want to know how you're spending your week leading up to Super Bowl Sunday.
I'm just chilling. My mom at the crib right now, so we just posted up at the crib. I live in Orange County, so I'm just kind of relaxing. See a couple of my friends, kick it with Keenan. I'm just posted up.
All right, just hanging. I asked you if you were doing the car wash, making your rounds on all the media. I mean, you're right here in Radio Row, just hitting up all the.
It's a FanDuel exclusively, so.
It's a FanDuel exclusive. It sounds like it.
Yeah.
All right, great having you on this. I know these guys have a million questions, and Dave's going to start us off.
Yeah, well, Rams, Bengals. You guys played the Bengals, Week 15. Very, very close game, but a low-scoring game. Anything you remember from there that kind of stands out about the Bengals' defense?
Their nose guard was really good. That's what I remember. Their nose guard was he played extremely well that game. I felt like it was a game obviously we could have won. But I think Pat Surtain, he did his job on Chase. But obviously they did enough to win the game. But we see what happens on the Super Bowl.
You thinking of yourself as a Bronco right now? We called you Broncos running back.
Yeah.
You think Denver's the place for you? What are you thinking, Melvin?
I mean, I hope so. You know, I hope so. It's tough trying to, switch, and it's not hard for me to I got a big personality, so I can go to teams and, and start relationships, but it kind of sucks. You kind of build a relationship with guys, and then you just have to leave, and it's part of the game. We all know that and understand that, but. I'd rather not have to do that. I'm not really big with change. I really don't like it. I just like being stable and just kind of, just being where you are. But, like I said, it's part of it.
Not really big with change, but I haven't seen you since you got the haircut. Looking good, oh, by the way. And
I appreciate it.
Talk about those relationships you're able to build. You're going to check in with Keenan Allen, and you talk about the former teammate Von Miller. Von Miller, obviously, now a member of the Rams. To see him get potentially another Vince Lombardi trophy and maybe another Super Bowl MVP, that's got to be pretty good when it comes to those building bonds and friendships.
Yeah, and you know, I really, Von was definitely one of the biggest reasons that I, you know, came to the Denver Broncos. You know, the first person I called, asked about the Broncos, hey, man, what the team is about. And, you know, I actually lived with Von. I stayed with Von for a few days out the week, especially when it was snowing because I lived so far away. So Von kind of took me in under the wing, and just the stuff he do behind the scenes is just crazy. I mean, just the stuff he do. He fly people in to get his body taken care of. I mean, he spends so much on his body. Now, I wasn't spending that much, but, you know, he definitely looked out a little bit for me, you know. But, you know, good things happen to good people. And he prided himself on being a great teammate, man. And I think everything that's happening to him is happening for a reason.
And that machine is the moneymaker, too. You gotta take care of yourself.
Got to.
Hey, there's a little conversation about Aaron Rodgers, the uncertainty of his future.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard anything about, you know, maybe he's a good fit there in Denver. How much of that conversation, you know, kind of comes into the locker room and you know, when did you guys start hearing about that, and what's your take on it?
I mean, we heard about it the first year. You know, I mean, we thought that Aaron Rodgers was going to come in and it ended up not happening, and now we really hearing about it now. So, I mean, it's a chance. You know, we can't get our hopes up too high, you know. But it's crazy, man. I mean, we love the guys that was in the room. Let's not take credit, you know, discredit them for what they've done. But, you know, he's a Hall of Famer, you know what I mean? And who wouldn't love to have Aaron Rodgers, right? So, you know, hopefully it works out for Denver to come there. We'd definitely be happy for that to happen.
Open arms if it works out. Aaron Rodgers, you heard it here from Melvin Gordon. Hey, there's a big game on Sunday. I don't know if, you know, put a little thought to it, but we got Rams, Bengals, and I need to know from you, who's going to win that game?
See, it's tough because my best friend I grew up with play on the Bengals.
Okay.
Trey Waynes. Okay. And then, you know, I got Von Miller on the other side along with some other guys. I'm really close with Joe Mixon. I built a relationship with Sony. Hopefully the Rams play him a little bit more. I don't know. It depends on the front. It depends on what that front do. It's going to be hard stopping those boys. I seen what happened in the Titans game. And
how are they going to block Aaron Donald?
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
We all seen that Titans game. That's what scared me.
9 sacks.
9 sacks. Shoot.
Von Miller.
Them boys might go for it. I don't know. Von, I've talked to Von. He you know, he on a different level right now mentally, man. So I don't know, man. I'm just hoping for a good game.
Oh.
No answer.
Hey, I said all that to say that. Oh. Hey, I just hope for a good game.
It will be. Don't worry about that.
I think he said Rams. I think he said Rams. Oh, we'll take it, Rams. All right, Melvin Gordon, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. You're awesome. We wish you all the best in Denver or wherever you might find yourself in the NFL. I hope it all works out for you, man. Appreciate you being here. And what's a Super Bowl without a Super Bowl party? Am I right? I've been asking Melvin where he's headed all week. Join me and Pat McAfee as we host FanDuel's massive event this Saturday. Well, you'll have a chance to win a share of $200,000 in prizes. It's the Superstar Showdown event. It is Saturday right here in downtown LA. Features dozens of celebrities and athletes competing in various sports challenges. Some of the competitors are Joe Montana. We got Anthony Anderson in-house, Wiz Khalifa, Ludacris. Wow. Those guys are also performing as well. All you got to do is predict the winners, and you're going to get a share of the $200,000 up for grabs. You guys, we got lots of information that's coming up for you on this show. We will continue to share with you all week long. We hope you join us here. We hope you join us Saturday, but we appreciate you joining us today. We'll see you right back here